Welcome to RUFAT'S Thinking Corner, a space to slow down, think deeper, and explore the ideas that shape our world.
Who are we in the world? Not just as names or roles, not just as identities to be declared, defined, but as beings who find ourselves thrown into a world already in motion, marked by systems we did not choose, shaped by histories we cannot escape. To ask this question seriously and slowly is to step outside the rush. Because today we are pushed to answer quickly, to brand ourselves, to explain ourselves, to become legible in a world that rewards clarity over complexity. But identity, real identity, is not clarity. It is contradiction. It is relation. It is tension that quite never resolves. We are told we are individuals, but we are not born into isolation. We are born into relation, into language, law, land, memory. As humans, we emerge not from essence, but from position. From how we are seen, from what we are allowed to be, from the worlds that hold us and those that don't. The self is not a sealed container. It's a crossing of voices, of wounds, repetitions, hopes. We are always becoming someone through someone else. We are shaped by the gaze, by mirrors that don't reflect us clearly, but still define us. We come to know ourselves through misrecognition, through the image we learn to cling to, through the words others speak to us, before we even speak for ourselves. What does it mean to become someone? To be recognized, named, allowed to appear. We do not perform identity because it is false. We perform it because we must. Because certain gestures are seen as coherent and others as illegible. Because some bodies are welcomed and others are watched. But performance is not submission. It can also be friction, a glitch, a refusal. Even when we repeat the scripts, we can twist them. Repeat with difference, become otherwise. This is where resistance begins, not in denial of identity, but in refusing to be reduced by it. Even within ourselves, we are not whole. There is the part that wants, the part that censors, the part that tries to keep it all together. We are not pure, not transparent, not final. There is always a gap between who we are and who we think we are, and who the world tells us to be. That gap is not a failure. It is our condition. That's where all becoming begins. We live in tension between the desire for coherence and the truth of contradictions. To be human is not to be resolved, is not to be undone and still to speak. But what happens when the world decides we are not worth recognizing? Some lives are called human. Others are declared bare, stripped of value, excluded from protection. This is not abstract. This is the logic of borders, camps, prisons, policies. This is the biopolitical world, where power decides who lives, who suffers, who disappears. A refugee becomes a number. A civilian becomes collateral. A body becomes invisible. We live in a state of expectation, where law suspends itself in the name of order. And some lives are allowed to slip quietly through the cracks. Gaza, Ukraine, Congo, Palestine, Sudan. Wars rage, empires shift, civilians perish without witness. Each conflict is a failure of relation, a failure of memory, a failure to see the human in other. But we could choose otherwise. We could learn to hear differently, to grieve all lives equally, to resist the gaze that ranks suffering, to say, no one is disposable. We do not need to agree to care. We only need to remember that all life is fragile, and that relation, not domination, is what sustains us. So who we are in the world? We are fragments, yes. But we are also potential. We are patterns, we are echoes, we are beginnings. We are not finished. We are not alone. We are shaped, but we can shape in return. We are called to remember, to resist, to relate, not perfectly, but persistently. Let us be the kind of people who do not turn away, who stay with the question, who sit with the trembling, and who ask always, how can I be with, not above, not beyond, but with others? This is not easy, but it is where humanity begins.
Thank you for thinking with us in RUFAT'S Thinking Corner. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, stay human.